Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bold analysis. I want to start by warning the citizens of the Republic of Kenya that there is no political contest between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. And there is no political contest now between William Ruto and any other politician, be it Kalonzo or Raila Odinga. The only contention is between Kenya Kwanza and the people of Kenya. And I want to pick it up by saying this, taking it here. There is this political narrative that has been said and peddled for long until maybe people who will start getting interest into the political developments in this country now, if someone is just to come from heaven and arrive now, he will be made to believe that Kenya Kwanza is cleaning Uhuru mess. That narrative has been said for long, and I think we will be doing a disservice to the people of this country if we can't dig deep and just find out what exactly is this meant to believe. Immediately, Uhuru Kenyatta went to Mwingi and warned and told Kenya Kwanza that stop using my name as a scapegoat. You want to blame my administration for everything. Just deliver to the people of Kenya and stop using my administration as a scapegoat. From that, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade picked that escape narrative that they've been having for nearly 1 year to attack Uhuru Kenyatta, saying that they are cleaning Uhuru mess. This was being led by William Ruto himself. And I know you'll realize that even the Mount Kenya Brigade that has been so much enthusiastic on responding to Uhuru Kenyatta, the response has not been so much overwhelming on William Ruto's side, contrary to what even President Ruto would expect. We've only seen Kimani Ichun'gwa releasing this statement.
One, it is a fact our economy is not doing well. It is also a fact that our economy did not stop doing well in the last 1 year. Our problems with our economic problems go back years during his regime. That is a fact of life that Uhuru Kenyatta will never run away from. It is a fact of life that state capture, corruption, and massive looting of our economy destroyed this economy. I've heard my former president saying that there are people who are selling fear to him. Let me tell him, the last person or people to sell fear, their term in office ended last year in August. This administration has no business selling fear to anybody. By saying what is true, the truth, speaking truth to those who think nobody should ever speak truth to them. I spoke truth to Uhuru Kenyatta when I served as his chairman budget and appropriations. And I told him what he was doing for the economy wasn't good. He ended up threatening me and chasing me away. I will speak truth to Uhuru Kenyatta even today. I will tell him, Mr. President, Mr. Former President, please have no fear. Nobody is interested with you. But we're only interested in Kenyans knowing the truth. And my position on having a state capture commission on the state of our economy is a position I have taken based on information and knowledge of what has destroyed our economy. Because this economy has principally been destroyed by state capture. I would want Uhuru Kenyatta today to look Kenyans in the eye. Tell Kenyans that he did not deplete our foreign exchange reserves. I would want Uhuru Kenyatta to look Kenyans in the eye. Tell Kenyans whether he settled the over 60 billion shillings in fuel subsidies that he left in our debt books. Let Uhuru Kenyatta look Kenyans today in the eye and tell them the maize subsidy, money owed to millers, almost 4 to 8 billion shillings, he left in our debt books, is propaganda or is a lie. Because figures speak. Numbers talk. And Uhuru Kenyatta cannot run away from his failures. I have stated it before, Uhuru Kenyatta was a tragedy to our country as a president and as a leader of this country. He destroyed the economy. Therefore, let him not tell us that we should not tell him or point out where the problem is. We are cleaning up your mess.
And so, is it true? That's the question. Is it really true that we are in this mess because of Uhuru Kenyatta? We need to find out, and that's what I'm going to explain. Because it seems to have been said until people might even think it's true. Now, there is one thing I do take. There is government, that transition. When someone takes over, for example, at Uhuru transition, whoever takes over picks it from where Uhuru left it. It is indeed true that our debt burden is huge. And now I think we are doing 10 known figures. But even during Uhuru Kenyatta era, the 5-year second term, our debt burden was high. Now I've always been asking this question. If William Ruto would have been the president when this country had that COVID-19, was experiencing COVID-19, what do you think these fellows will be telling the citizens? Can you just think outside the box? Because Uhuru managed it. Remember during that COVID, bank transactions was actually slashed. The cost, actually it was removed. They were removed. M-Pesa transactions was also slashed down. The economy went on a shutdown. You may need to ask, are we at the point where COVID left this country? And Kenya Kwanza have declined to accept. But Kenya, even since COVID-19, some of the economic shocks that we experienced was due to COVID-19 by then. Even these subsidies the women talk about, they started during COVID-19. And if you want to know, I want to say Wajinga Wadisha Kenya. Mudema, the former UDA chairman, was even, while addressing some interview, being addressed by some journalists, even said that they have been fueling their cars from their private pockets and paying their offices. Not been using the national government cards to fuel their cars. And I'm like, do you want to tell me that is true?
And now President Ruto, with this well-planned approach on how to stabilize the economy of the country and now bring the cost of living down, we had to look for money. And Kenyans, I want you to understand one thing. Me, I'm a businessman. If I borrow money with this property here from the bank and I don't pay, I have only two options: sell and pay, or the bank auctions and recovers the money. We are holding people's money and we need to pay. So if you are in that situation and you are a businessman and you are faithful to your family, you come and tell them, hey, you guys, mulikuwa mnakula nyama kilo 2 kwa week. Because of what we are going through, it is going to be half a kilo once in a week. Whether they like it or not, that is the situation. Since the government does not have properties that can be auctioned, the properties that belongs to the government of Kenya and any other government in any other country is the citizens of that country. And even auctioneer will be sent to auction to recover the money that has been loaned to a government. It will be the citizens to be auctioned. And how do you auction them? You go back to them and tell them, as a family, this is where we are. We cannot pay rent, we cannot pay electricity, we have to live without it. And we have to cut down our eating style to cope with the situation. That is why Ruto went to raid Kenyans' pockets, because that is the only property that can be auctioned now. Hakuna ingine. Sasa mnamwambia aende wapi? Can he go to Kisumu and take your house and sell it to repay? No, wait. Can he do that? Can he come to Kambani and take my property over here in Gidiri? No. So he had to raid Kenyans' pockets and tell them, because we have this obligation of loans and we have to pay, all of us, we have to calm down our style of living and recover now. That's why you saw some increment. I want to give you an answer of the issues that are serious. If you want us to move this recovery of loan and give you an exemption time of 6 months, you have to do this. You have to devalue your currency. You have to. You see, we are not independent financially as you may think, but now we are going to swim our way out. Uhuru put this country in a total mess.
Wajinga walisha Kenya. Let's be very realistic. And I can tell you, Kenya Kwanza have publicists. Everyone is a publicist. And if indeed these fellows have been using their money to fuel their cars, I'm telling you, you know what Ichun'gwa can do? Ichun'gwa can take one phone or even a camera and escort one CS. Find that CS and even show us records of how cabinet principal secretaries are and the state officials are pulling their costs from their own money. Because they would have done that, they would have publicized that to make the country see the element of sacrifice. You know? So things are simply not adding up. And I remember this team saying we're cleaning Uhuru mess. But the controller budget is saying last year we paid some 2 billion for a loan commitment that has never been delivered. In fact, it was never delivered. That's number one. Number two, the controller budget is saying that salaries of state officials are tripled tripled on paper, on paper, on the payroll, but on the accounts it's just received as normal. So what exactly is it? It's a big balance between, are we getting it right? Is it about what we are doing right? Or it's about what was done wrong? Let's get it. And I want to show you, I want us to debunk this. You will realize there that political, that narrative is one that is just being led for the sake of it. So I ask again, the people of this country, the Kenyans, this must come out. No one is claiming Uhuru mess. There is nothing like Uhuru mess. The only thing that is happening here is, if we have debts, yes, Uhuru left debts. But those debts, yes, it's the sovereign to suffer. But on this inflation, William Ruto is employing Kenya Kwanza policies. They are not employing Uhuru Kenyatta. They are not using Uhuru Kenyatta policies. And so, look at, listen to what Macarena said. Macarena did something, and I picked this video because he was driving, I think this is around Nairobi, and he was saying, infrastructure. I've gone to Mount Kenya and I saw what Uhuru did. Listen to what Macarena, this video by Macarena.
Haya wa Kenya sasa ndio hii kazi yetu sisi. Hebu wamulikie kazi ya Uhuru. Hapa tukikaa ni kama mtu wako UK. Ni kama mtu wako Dubai. Yani unandrive wewe ni kama mtu ambaye ako London. Sunguka huko, sunguza kamera wajione. Nataka tumekuja kuwaelezea kazi ya Uhuru practical. Tunaonyesha kazi ile Uhuru alitufanyia kama Wakenya practical. Nataka kuambia Ichun'gwa, sisi watu wa Mount Kenya tumechukuliwa kama wajinga. Na tunachukuliwa kama wajinga kwa sababu nyinyi mnapata tupesa kidogo, mnaonelea ni vizuri kukaa mkituzi watu wenu. Nataka kuambia kazi ile Uhuru alifanya ndio hii na kuonyesha. Angalia hapa unatembelea ni kama mtu wako London. Nataka Ichun'gwa, Lindo majority wa assembly ya Kenya. Nataka usimame kwa project moja for 1 year. Unionyeshe ile touchable project ile president ametufanyia Ruto. Kwa hivyo kitu nataka kuwaomba ni hii matuzi mingi tupunguze. Juzi hapa mlileta hii takataka inaitwa Cosmo Joy. Cosmo Joy anakuja hapa Kenya anapewa mpaka escort. Driver ya kanta na hapa US. Mtu ya kukaa kwa nyumba. Yani Cosmo Joy ya muonangi anandrazia kwa mlango ya white. Na kagari kengine kandogo hapo kwa white. Anandranzi na akikuja hapa kwa sababu serikali yetu ni ya kubabaisha. Kubabaisha tu. Nataka kumwomba rais William Ruto. Wakenya wamechoka kuambiwa tutatenda. Wakenya wamechoka kuambiwa serikali iliyopita, wamechoka. Nataka kuambia Wakenya hivi. Na niambia wale wako kwa serikali. Juzi walikuwa wanapigania mama anaitwa Kawera. Akina nani Waigoro, akina nani, akina Millicent Odhiambo, akina Millicent Omanga, wote walitoka kupigania mama. Kuna mama amenyang'anywa oil, mafuta ya 17 billion. Mbona hamjajitokeza? Ndio mjue nyinyi ni wezi, hii serikali ni wezi. Nataka kuwaambia hivi. Munafikiri mtasukuma Uhuru, mkifikiri ni Uhuru mnasukuma, mnajisukuma wenyewe. Yaani wale watu wako kwa serikali ndio wanakaa opposition, kuropokwa. Kila siku ni kuropokwa. Nataka kuuliza Ichun'gwa hivi. Uhuru alitupea mwaka mzima akitumia watu chakula, walemavu walikuwa nakula, mama wazee wanakula. Wakenya wanakumbuka. Uhuru mwaka mzima hatukulipa hata nini. M-Pesa ulikuwa unatuma free. Usuru haikuwa hatukuwa tunalipa. Ukienda kwa benki free. Lakini nyinyi mmekaa mwaka moja, mnatulipiza mpaka mkojo, mnatulipiza mate ile mtu ana meza na mnalia hamna pesa. Nataka kuambia serikali hivi ya Ruto. Wakenya vile wanasema huku mazinani, Excellency the President, wewe hata mimi mtu wa opposition, wewe ndio rais wangu. Wakenya wanataka kujua wako na ndani ya pesa ngapi na wako na arrears ya pesa ngapi, ndio Wakenya wajipange, wajue vile Kibaki alijipanga. Akaendelea kulipa ndani ya ile ilikuwa ya Moi, hawakuumia. Uhuru akakuja, akaendelea kulipa ndani, lakini maendeleo yao wote tunaiona. Yako watu hawaioni. Tuambie tuko na ndani ya pesa ngapi, tuko na arrears ya pesa ngapi, na utuambie kwa hii mwaka moja hizo mabilioni zote mmechukua imeenda wapi? Ya pili, watu wanasema tukuli fertilizer, tutapanda mahindi na manyoya ya ng'ombe. Fertilizer itoke, utuletee mafuta sisi. Fertilizer itoke, upunguzie watu petroli. Hiyo ndio sauti ya Wakenya na ndio Wakenya wanaona. Wamulikie Paradise. Hii ni Uhuru alileta hii maendeleo. Nataka Kimani Ichun'gwa uweze kusimama kwa mlango ya parliament ukituziana. Tunataka kukuona ukituziana ukiwa kwa murandi ya serikali ile unaringa naye. Lakini nataka kuambia watu wa Mount Kenya, saa hii by next year Nairobi itakuwa na Mumeru, Nairobi itakuwa na Mukikuyu, Nairobi itakuwa na Mutharaka, Nairobi itakuwa na Mwembu. Masamba yote imeenda na Waria, itakuwa zilizopendwa. Mnafikiri ni Ruto? Mnafikiri Ruto ni mjinga? Ruto hana haja na nyinyi. Mkipigana Ruto hana shughuli na nyinyi. Ndio unaona mlikuja mkatulazimiza Kawera hapo hapo. Sasa watu wote Meru wananifurahiza. Wa Meru wanajiita wa Meru, si watu wa Mount Kenya. Na wa Meru wanaenda Azimio, Azimio. Wewe Kimani Ichun'gwa kaa hapo ukituzi Uhuru. Watu wa mlima wanangojea Uhuru kama mate. Na namuomba Deputy President, vile ulisema unatafuta Uhuru, wewe ni mzee, niliona hapa umefikiria. Jaribu kaa chini na former president. Wachana na hao watoto wameshika pesa juzi. Kimani Ichun'gwa anapandiza ngoroba Nairobi, anapandiza ngoroba Kisumu, anapandiza ngoroba Meru, anapandiza ngoroba kila town. Halafu wanakuja kutuambia walipata serikali ina pesa. Hii pesa yote tunalipa inaenda wapi? Ama mnafikiri Wakenya hawaoni? Mnakula na sisi tunameza mate. Mtajua Wakenya wanajua. Ai.
I just did a simple breakdown of two aspects. On this one, Uhuru mess line and Ruto's revenue stream. So I've tried to point out on things that Uhuru Kenyatta has been accused of, and remember when the discussion about forming the State Capture Commission inquiry was formed. Number one, publicly, I'm talking about things that have been said in public. Uhuru has been accused of stealing 6 billion using the fraudulent telecom deal that happened some few days to the general election. 6 billion. Uhuru Kenyatta has also been accused of the fuel subsidy, using subsidy to stabilize the cost of fuel. And according to those who criticize him, they've been saying that that was unsustainable. And the other claim about this was that this subsidy was never felt. Even though we understand that by the time Uhuru Kenyatta was leaving, fuel was retailing at 160. How it got to 217 is the puzzle Kenya Kwanza cannot explain. So we've been saying this never worked. Accusations about this fuel subsidy, that this money went to people's pockets, that it was never used for subsidy, and I'll show you something about it. Now, one thing about this fuel subsidy here is Uhuru was blamed to have taken this subsidy and taken it himself, that he did not benefit. But Kenya Kwanza administration are the ones that paid for the subsidy. They paid recently. There was withdrawal 3 times. That was in October, January, and even July 23, saying they are paying for this subsidy. So I don't know how Uhuru took the money, if themselves they have done approximations to pay this subsidy. Number 2 is the maize subsidy. Now, maize subsidy was blamed that Uhuru wanted to convince Kenyans to vote for Raila Odinga and had a subsidy that did not lower the cost of the price of maize. Probably it's true the price of maize did not go down, and on this one I agree that the subsidy on maize did not work and probably did not go. But then the amount here for this subsidy has been said to be 20 billion. Now take this 25 and 20 and this 6, we are doing almost 50, 20, 45, we are doing 51. Now BBI funding project, this one is never quantified, so this one remains a political propaganda. Then we have the oil sector capture, where Uhuru Kenyatta was ever believed to be the one that was importing oil in this country and selling. So these were all accusations. Now, this amounts to around, let's look at approximately something like let's look at 100 billion. Let's talk about around 100 billion. Now, so come to the revenue stream. That is what is being said about Uhuru Kenyatta. If you look at our revenue stream, in this financial year 2023, which is Ruto's first budget, we did a budget of 2.6 trillion, and from that 2.6 trillion, 2.8 rather, I think I missed it here, 2.8 was to come from our taxes, then we had around 800 billion to be loans. So, and because there are 2 ways of funding a budget, either through taxation or debts. So our debts was supposed to be 800 billion here, and then 2.8 billion to be our debt. Now let me tell you, as we speak, we have done a supplementary budget of 300 billion. I don't want you to get, that's why I want you to, supplementary estimates are, after you budget, then you come back and realize that I need more money, or maybe there are some eventualities, probably like, let's take an example like El Nino, and you did not budget for it. So under Article 222, government is always allowed to spend money, then come and do approximation in Parliament. Now, they have taken supplementary estimates. That first supplementary estimates is 300 billion. So this means this budget is going to 3.9 trillion. So what have happened here is, and remember this is just 3 months, because budget was passed in July. So it was July, October, August, September. No, 4 months. October. Within the 4 months, we are asking for another 300 billion. Now, the more this we are asking for, remember we've added taxation here. How much is now coming from it? That means we'll have to be at a quagmire. So even without Uhuru Kenyatta is not in the picture. But why are we adding more? Now, let's look at, I want to debunk it by saying that our problem has been expenditure. Look at the number of loans that Uhuru Kenyatta, that William Ruto received. Between September last year, by the time they came into office, to December, they received 32 billion and 55.1 billion. This is IMF under the 38 months program. So under this 38 months program that started during Uhuru Kenyatta era, they received 87 billion. That is from IMF. Now in May this year, 2023, they received another 1.162 billion this year. Now, this plus this, we are almost doing 200. The same month, because this money came to 2 batches, the same month, there was another dispatch of 112 billion. This month of December, before I even give you this World Bank, this month of December, this month of November, I think 2 days ago, not even 2 days, I think yesterday, there was another approval of another 147 billion approved by IMF to William Ruto's government. So look at how much we have loaned. Look at this, all this. Now, one indicator here is this World Bank loan is a new one. They're giving us another 1.8 trillion for the next 3 years. I think it's the same as this one. For the next 3 years. So we've gotten into another loan. So whether we want, as much as we want to blame Uhuru Kenyatta, can you look at how much we have borrowed? Now, where have all this money gone to? Because we have not done subsidy. Hii pesa yote imeenda wapi? Now, leave alone those loans. I told you, you fund the budget with loans, debts, and taxes. Now, let's look at the new tax regime. We've had 16% VAT on fuel. This one, we seem to have increased the amount of money received from fuel. We have fees hike in the national parks, entry parks. And on this, I also want to tie it up that there is another tax element that has been introduced for tourists coming in the country. For goods worth more than 500,000 has to be taxed. Transactions on land have also been hiked. Try buying land now. This includes the hundreds. Housing levy 1.5 has been introduced. Now, under the guise that this money directly goes into some housing fund, which of course there is no much transaction to it now. When I was doing research, someone reminded me, Hustler Fund savings, where are they? There is a lot of money here. There are ID and good conduct on birth. Let me tell you. On top of all that, just today there is an article in the Star that Linturi is saying that the country lost 16 billion in importing duty-free sugar and rice. Now, we imported duty-free sugar and rice, but do you know that the prices of those cereals didn't go down? As we talk now, there is a talk about 17 billion oil deal that was imported in the country, and some, as the new team and Okia Mtata is saying, that could have been taxpayers' money. Now, that's what I want you to judge, honestly. Is it about Uhuru Kenyatta or is it about our expenditure? Just tell us. You know, this has been said for quite so long. Is it about Uhuru Kenyatta or it's about our expenditure? Now, let me tell you. You will realize two things. There are two things on this narrative. Number one, the region that has been coming out to attack Uhuru Kenyatta and sell this narrative is Mount Kenya. Rift Valley team comes distant second. After Mount Kenya shaongea ndio wao wanaongea. But that number has also reduced. Ichun'gwa is the only one. You know, surprise to many, the deputy president has not responded to this. And has not even responded. Remember the G2G thing? He has not even made any comment about it. This oil debate. He's not done any statement about it. Number two, it is not true. And another thing here is, those boarding this kit is reducing. And it's not true that Kenyans are buying it. It's simply lacking the traction. But, or rather, and I want to warn you good Kenyans that there are three objectives of this narrative. And if the good Kenyans are not going to be keen to separate the dirt from the truth, then we might fall into this trap. It's a trap to achieve these political objectives. Number one, Kenya Kwanza wants to justify the policy misses. Maybe I will insist, and I will repeat this without fear of contradiction. The problem we are facing does not squarely rest with Uhuru Kenyatta. The problem we are facing with Kenya Kwanza here is that we clamped policies and really we are one-sided looking at how we can collect more money. But we are deaf into a ski. We are also dumb, we are also not talking about it, and we are also short-sighted. Kipofu, mtu ambaye haoni short-sighted. So we are crippled and we are not seeing the other side of expenditure. That's the problem. We have good policies on how we are collecting money, and I believe we are collecting. But the problem is with the expenditure. Number one, Ruto is on his, is it 38th or 44th trip? This one in Germany is the people who have that tally. Ruto foreign trips trackers. The trackers are saying he might be in his 40th trips outside the country since he came into president. So we've had policy misses, and someone is interested, and what that person wants you to see is to justify that it's not about Kenya Kwanza policy misses, it's about Uhuru Kenyatta. But in this sense, they know G2G has failed to address the fuel issue. And if the fuel issue is addressed, we'll not be having all these other discussions. When fuel is addressed, all things are sorted. Number two, Uhuru sabotaged Ruto power. There are some gullible voters in Mount Kenya that will still believe and want to be told that, remember the narrative that Ruto campaigned with, that I am son of a peasant farmer, and so these people don't want me to be the president, and that's why wananipangia. People still want to take people to that campaign mode. And they want to, it's targeting Mount Kenya and Rift Valley, 2 areas. That narrative is not targeting any other person, it's targeting Mount Kenya and Rift Valley, and that is why it's those 2 MPs that we talk. MPs from, one from Rift Valley and one from, maybe some from Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. Number 3, there is a creation, and I started by saying, someone wants to create a contest between Uhuru and Ruto in people's mind. No, there is no contest. There is no contest between William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta. There is no contest between William Ruto and Raila Odinga. The only context and the contest Kenyans have now is between Kenya Kwanza and the People of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you guys. Kindly subscribe to our channel. If you're moving your office items, if you're moving and you're locating, work with Topmark Movers. They're the best quality, grant you safety and affordable rates. Visit their website www.topmarkmovers.com, or you can as well talk to them directly 0719 17 43 93. Topmark Movers quality is everything. I want to read your reaction. Why is this lie being told?